he asked me, how long have you been doing this? And I said, this is my first one. Right. And he just starts laughing. And so, and I go, what's so funny? He goes, nothing. Let me make you an opportunity of a lifetime. Like we'll partner
Wow,
up
that's
on
cool.
this. He said, we'll partner up on this. We'll use my crews, my money, everything. You just pay attention, watch, take notes, ask questions, and we'll split it 50-50.
Wow.
And I said,
That's
yeah,
huge,
absolutely. Let's do it.
Welcome to the Investor Fuel Real Estate Investing Show, where I interview the nation's top real estate entrepreneurs, industry leaders, and other amazing entrepreneurs to help educate and inspire you to take your business and your life to the next level. My goal is to add tremendous value to you during every single episode of this show. If you get value, I'd love it if you subscribe on your favorite podcast player, subscribe on YouTube, and my very favorite, please share this with your community so we can impact even more entrepreneurs. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, John Harcar. And today on the Real Estate Pros podcast, I'm kind of honored and excited and looking forward to talking to Gerald Hennessey. And Gerald and I go way back, way back. I'm not going to kind of say the age. I don't want to date myself on the age and everything, but since high school. And, you know, we went our separate ways, connected again, finding out we're both in real estate. So, we thought we'd have him come on here and share his knowledge with you guys. So Gerald, welcome to the show.
Great to be here, John. It's always good to see
Right
you.
on.
Of course,
Yeah,
like
you
you said,
too.
it's been many years since we go way, way, way back, back to
Yeah.
high school. And I think
Yeah.
you were on the football team, right? Varsity
Yeah.
football?
Yeah, I was the quote unquote jock guy,
Right.
so it was fun, but that's so long ago.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
cool. So what I like to do, when folks come onto our podcast, obviously because our audience doesn't know who you are. So why don't you kind of tell us a little bit about, your background, what got you into real estate and what really, where you're at today.
Yeah. So after high school, so many years ago, actually, so about 19 years ago, I got into real estate investing, and I came from the mortgage broker lending space, right? So
Okay.
I had a job working for a broker, and so I was slinging mortgage loans. And I had a couple of investor clients that when I was looking at their tax returns and their books and everything to get them approved for a mortgage, I started seeing that I was on the wrong side of real estate, that there was
Right.
way more opportunity being on the investor side, right? So in 2006, I purchased my first investment property up in the state of Washington. And it's kind of interesting how that came about. I ended up getting a mentor by default because the first investment property that I purchased up in Tacoma, Washington, I made an offer to a guy. He accepted. The guy he had his house boarded up because the utilities were off, and he was living in his car in the front yard. Right.
Oh,
So he didn't even
geez.
have a phone or anything. He had to borrow somebody else's phone, neighbor's phone, and all that just to connect with him. So I make an offer. He signs it. I give him some earnest money in cash so that he can, just survive. Right.
Yeah.
I take my agreement to escrow and go and open escrow. And then next thing you know, a few days later, I get a call from him saying that, I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to honor our deal because I made a deal with somebody else for more money. And I was like, you can't do that. He's like, well, I did. So long story short, I ended up connecting with, I asked him to, hook me up with the other guy and I'll work it out with him. The other
Sure.
guy is a 30-year real estate investor, veteran. He's a doctor. He has his own practice. He has his own pension fund that he uses as his own funding capital for all of the projects that he does. And so I go and meet with them.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
He asked me, how long have you been doing this? And I said, this is my first one, right? And he just starts laughing. And so and I go, what's so funny? He goes, nothing. Let me make you an opportunity of a lifetime. Like we'll partner up on this. He said, we'll partner up on this. We'll use my crews, my money, everything. You just pay attention, watch, take notes, ask questions, and we'll split it 50-50.
Wow.
And I said, yeah, huge, absolutely. Dude. Let's do it. Right. So I had a mentor by default that taught me the inside and out of his experience that lasted decades. Right. So I ended up making, my half of that was $30,000 on my first flip, in real estate. And so I took that money and the rest of my money, and I went and started buying properties like crazy in 2007, the following year. I ended up buying 27 properties. Yeah. I ended up buying 27 properties in 4 different states, all by myself. I was much younger back then, but I was just getting after it. I was
were you using your own cash? Were you using hard money? What were you doing to fund
my
these
own
things?
cash, plus the 30,000 that I got from that first flip. And I was leveraging really hard because we could do that back then. That was pretty much the peak of the market. And so I bought 27 properties in 4 different states, in Arizona, in Texas, in Nevada, in Vegas, and in Washington. And the months that followed did not go well. I spent all my cash fixing up these properties with planning to sell them and cash them out. Within a matter of months, I ended up finding myself going from 1.7 million in equity to being upside down almost $1 million on everything.
Geez.
Right.
Wow.
So because most folks don't remember, back in 2007, 2008, the recession and real estate crash, I mean, it was a reckoning. Anybody that was in real estate got hurt at least a little bit, but a lot of people got really wiped out. So for me, it was a blessing, though. It's really hard to say that, but looking back now, I can say that with confidence, that having such a reckoning happen to me, it taught me many different lessons in real estate. It taught me how to pivot as well, because after all of that took place, it was really hard to get anybody to loan institutionally to loan any mortgage money. Even if you had perfect credit, nobody was lending. All these mortgage companies, they all shut their doors and went bankrupt and went out of business. And so I had to learn by force back in 2007, 2008, how to get creative with real estate with regard to the financing of it, because I didn't have a choice, right? So there were a lot of people that still needed to sell their properties. They were over it. They didn't know what to do. Many people that did not have equity, but maybe they had a mortgage with a decent interest rate and decent low payments on it. We just started getting creative with it. And
so you were doing creative
like a phoenix.
You were doing creative before creative was popular, in a sense.
Yeah, the word sub to that everybody talks about today wasn't even a thing. It was subject to, and it was just a description of a tool or a solution that we had, right? Which that was a very common one. We just take over the payments on a mortgage, leaving it in place, taking control of the title. We even back then used trusts to hold the title to the property so that we didn't have any issues with the mortgagor. And so, getting creative is what it's all about when a situation does not fit for a regular cash deal.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we kind of go forward, I always like to talk about back stuff, right? You answered one of my questions, right? I like to ask people, did you have any influence in your past, family, friends, neighbors, aunts, uncles, somebody in real estate? You were in the mortgage part. You saw the other side, the better side. Kind of like my story. I was in data and I saw people, what they were making from my data. And I'm like, I'm in the wrong side. So when you started, right, do you think that if you didn't find that mentor, if you didn't have that, that connection with that guy, that you'd be where you are at today? I mean, do you think that you would have learned and excelled and grew in the speed you did?
I think it would have taken a lot longer.
Yeah.
I mean, I was very determined, and even during that time, after that time, I really focused on studying, and a lot of the material that we had available was not even really on the internet, right? I mean, the internet was a thing, but it just wasn't as popular and available as it is now. Nowadays, you can choose from thousands of different YouTube videos, podcast episodes like this, and learn very easily. But back then, we had workbooks and notebooks that you would pay to go to a seminar, and you get delivered this book that you would,
It's like that
so,
thick.
yeah, and I still have one of them somewhere, but it was actually how I got my first contracts, right? So I went to a seminar, a pretty popular one, and then even guys like Ron LeGrand, and one of them in particular, I came home with this notebook, a 3-ring binder that had all these pages in it. And depending upon the situation, you'd go, okay, here's the contract that you use for the situation. I just open it up and I take it and I type it up, and then there you go. Right. So, but at the same time, I also invested a lot of time and money meeting with attorneys that specialized in different areas, because there's some things in real estate that can go wrong, and then there's other things that can go really, really wrong really fast.
Right.
In particular, at that time, back in 2007, I bought a whole bunch of properties in Lake Havasu, Arizona, right? And I bought a bulk of them at the same time from one investor seller. And so we finally made the deal after hours, and it was after the title company had closed. So we met with a notary and got everything signed, and I had original deeds in my hand. And whenever I buy a property, I quickly go to the property, I change the locks, and I put just a small piece of paper in the window that says, for any questions regarding this property, please call, and I put my number, right? That way somebody can let me know if there's a problem.
Yeah.
And so I did that to these properties right after I got the deed, and I had to go out to Texas to my other properties out in Dallas. And so I went and hopped on a plane, and by the time I got off the plane and turned my phone back on, it was blowing up, and I had a ton of messages from the Mojave County Sheriff's Department. And I was like, oh, this is going to be good. So I call them back, and they and they tell me that, I go, what's going on? And they said, the deputy said that, well, we're looking for the owner of this property, and they gave me the address. And I said, well, I can't help you unless you tell me what's going on, right? Because I didn't want to admit that I'm the owner and then be liable for something if there was a problem. And there absolutely was. So he finally ends up telling me, I go, come on, just tell me what's going on. He goes, all right. 911 responded to a call at this property a couple hours ago, because there were 2 kids that jumped the fence, and it had a pool in the backyard. And one of the kids pushed the other one into the pool. And when they went in, they hit their head on the coping on the side of the pool and was knocked unconscious in the water. And then the other kid ran to the neighbor and had them call 911. So paramedics responded. They had to resuscitate the kid. Luckily, he lived, but the parents were out for blood, and they demanded to know who the owner of the property is and all that sort of stuff. And so, it to me, it smelled like $1 million plus like lawsuit.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I don't know who owns the property. And I ripped up the deed to that property and walked away.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Wow. Did any recourse come back to you or anything else happen?
No, never.
Nothing.
It went back on the previous owner because those deeds were unrecorded, right?
Wow.
And by the way, at that time, I was still in the infancy of my real estate investing career, and I was taking title to properties in my name at that time. After that incident, I've never taken a property in my name ever since. I've always used trusts with a trustee because there's layers of protection there, right? So when you vest the property in a proper entity, the liability is limited to that property only. So they can sue you and take that property, but that's it, right? The rest of your estate is protected. Whereas if you're holding properties in your name, they can come after everything.
Oh, yeah. And I've heard a lot of stories about that. So what does your business look like today? So, you mentioned you bought over multiple states. You went through the big recession. Sounds like you pivoted. So what does your business look like today? What are you focusing on? Where are you buying, et cetera?
Yeah. So I've always been all over the United States because I go where the opportunity is, right? I know a lot of people niche down and they focus on one community. I've always just been all over the place because I kind of have an attention deficit, right? So like so many other
most entrepreneurs do.
Right. So I've been all over the place, but one of the things it's interesting about my business is that it started in the beginning with like a piece of paper, a notepad and a paper, and I would just, chicken scratches everywhere. Then I moved on to spreadsheets, right? Like an Excel, like spreadsheet, and I got organized with just rows and columns of data. Then I finally, years later, got into like Podio as a CRM, right? And started using that.
School.
Then I started adding all sorts of things to it. Then we've moved on from there to places like High Level as a CRM. And over the years, we just keep adding more and more and more. And so even like years ago, we would add like ringless voicemail, we would add SMS being managed by the CRM until a few years ago when AI became available, and that really turbocharged everything. So in years past, I would have to take call after call and just sit there constantly texting back and forth with sellers and with buyers whenever I'm wholesaling a deal, because if a deal doesn't fit for me, but it fits for someone else, I'm happy to wholesale it,
Sure, of course.
But nowadays, things look so much different because I'm able to spend so much more time doing other things, spending time with my children, with my wife, with my family, instead of grinding and grinding and grinding every single day, right? So nowadays, we have artificial intelligence that screens all of the calls, that handles all the text messages, all the emails back and forth from all the different lead sources that we have, right? And when there's an opportunity there that's been identified, now I get involved, right? So I have various lead sources that, one of them that's my favorite is using Craigslist. Every so often I post it, and I don't do it all the time. Yeah. I'll post an ad on Craigslist offering for bird dogs, right? And for those that don't know what a bird dog is, it's somebody that's referring a deal to us as an investor, right? And we pay them. We offer to pay them. So whenever I post an ad saying, hey, I'll pay you up to $1,500 if you refer me an opportunity to buy a piece of real estate property and I close on it, I give you that cash, 1,500 cash. So whenever
Yeah.
I post the ad, I get a lot of people that just want the cash, but they don't have anything to refer. But
Right.
then mixed amongst that, I usually get, 5 to 10 genuine bona fide referrals out of it, right? But the way
Yeah.
it comes in every time I post that ad is that I'll get on the first day, I'll get 100 plus SMSs and calls that'll come in even in the middle of the night, because some of them are people that are nocturnal, to say the
To
least,
say,
right?
yeah,
That want the
that's the
cash.
polite way to say it.
Right.
Right.
So
Uh,
instead of me having to wake up in the middle of the night and deal with these things, I have my artificial intelligence set up that where it captures all and manages all of those conversations. It knows what
Perfect.
to ask them, where to go next based upon what response they give, and it archives all of these answers into our CRM, right? So that way, when I'm ready to go look at it, I can just look at all the details about how they're laid out, what was said. I can even read the transcript of the phone call or the text message thread and understand where to go next in the conversation when I get involved, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's such an amazing advancement. And I know there's still a lot of investors out there that are still doing it the old school way, right?
Yeah.
Just racking the phone and just hammering those and just smile and dial, right? But there's a smarter way to do it that allows you to do so much more volume, right? And it's not about avoiding the work. It's about putting the work exactly where you're most effective.
Yeah. Smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Smarter, not harder. Yeah. Why do you think a lot of people are not as apt to adapt AI and not, still doing the grind? I mean, if we know there's a better way, why don't you think people are doing it?
Well, it's really hard to set up for that person that's not very tech savvy, right? So for me, I've always been involved in the technical side and the programming, the coding side of things, since many decades ago. Even before my real estate investing career, I was involved in computers and coding and programming, right? So for me,
Mhm.
I know how to fine tune it and get it just right. But raw out of the box, most of these products, they don't necessarily perform right.
Right.
You really have to get it fine tuned or know someone that understands this that can set it up for you, which I have a number of other, real estate investor friends that I've set this up for, other clients that we've done this for, and we're happy to help anybody that needs help with that. But I
Okay.
think that's a big area. I think there's a lot of others out there that um, that value the human element of it, that
Mhm.
AI still is just not there. It still can't provide, we've trained it on neurolinguistic programming, human psychology 101, sales tactics 101, and we've also given it a whole database of chit chat, right? Of
Right.
things that it can, BS back and forth about and just to have small talk, right?
Mhm.
But it
Mhm.
still doesn't quite match up to a human conversation.
No.
And the fact is that anybody that's really good as a real estate investor in this business is good at being human. They're good at listening and moderating and modulating the conversation based upon the feedback of that person, right? So when that person says something, that's meaningful or emotional, they don't just say, okay, that's great. Well, tell me about the
Yeah.
bedrooms, the baths, right? They slow down and go, oh man,
It's
I'm
the
sorry to hear that.
tonality. It's the raising and the lowering. It's the pitch. It's all the things that make someone who is good at sales good is they understand the human, how to all those type of things that we just talked about, right? How to really correspond with what they're saying emotionally, and put that into your speech. So yeah, because I've heard a lot of AIs that are incredible that sound like, yeah, but the one thing they lack is that emotional kind of kick.
And so that's what we're working on right now, right? So in addition to investing in real estate, I just bought this place where I'm at right now out in Kansas City. I'm focused on a lot of deals in Florida, in Texas, in Nevada, and Washington.
Nice.
I've even owned properties out in Hawaii as well. But focusing on developing the next generation of this AI because this is where it's going, right? And
Huge.
here's what we have now, right? So we have a system that we're finishing up, and it'll be available this next year in 26, that will be able to negotiate the terms of the contract, will auto fill in a contract, will send it over to the seller, in a DocuSign while they're on the phone with them, and walk them through the contract and tell them
Dude, it's
exactly,
so
click
awesome.
here to initial, click here to initial, and it will actually get signed contracts. And the same thing can be done for disposition in a wholesale situation.
Dude, I just can't wait for my free account.
Right?
Real quick, because we're running out of time. I could push this a little bit longer, but your experience, man. You've been around the block. You've done a lot. You've seen a lot. You know a lot. People that are listening to this that maybe are trying to get into this, right, or they're trying to make that leap, or maybe it's about AI, like just overall, over encompassing, like what is some rule or some pearls of wisdom, right? Some things to set them up for success that you would recommend they do, seek out, learn, whatever.
So after 19 years of investing in real estate, I still learn new things all the time.
Every day.
Right? I still see new things, experience new things all the time. So you'll never really fully have seen it all or done it all, because every once in a while, after you say that, you'll be shocked.
Yeah.
But what I would say
true.
to anyone that's looking to get started in this business, or you're kind of newer, or younger in the business, maybe you've only been in a few years, the whole thing is to have conversations with people, right? So a lot of the best deals that I've ever had, the wholesale deals where I've made 6 figures on just one deal, right? Those best ones, they all didn't come from some marketing tactic or some special lead source. It came from a referral. And when you get referrals from people, there's trust from that other person that gets transferred over to you.
Yep.
So you also have exclusivity. When you're the only person talking to that seller, you're bound to get a better opportunity, a better deal than if you're competing with everybody else out there. Kind of like it with a property that's on the market, which I only focus on off-market deals. I hardly ever will make an offer on a deal that's on the market for that reason.
It's funny you say that, the referrals and the exclusivity and that kind of trust factor, because they refer. That's how I got my biggest deal ever. It was, I said to a guy, hey, you can sell your house. No. Do you know anybody else looking to sell? Buy that piece of crap next door. I went next door. The only reason the lady's like, I never take these calls. I never talk to anybody. I never let someone come to me. But you came from the next door neighbor, right?
That's
So
right.
yeah, I'll do business with you. And that's huge. So I love that point.
Yeah. And so for somebody that's starting out, to get back to that point, is that it's great to have a mentor. It's great to get educated and to seek out that knowledge and deepen your understanding of this business. But the best way to really excel as a real estate investor or wholesaler, depending on where your focus is to find the opportunity first and then bring it to someone that can help you and walk you through all the details of that. Right. So
Yep.
even
Yep.
if you don't know what you're doing yet, all you need to do is find somebody that wants to sell. And here's another point of it, is that really, real estate investors, real estate wholesalers, we solve problems. Right. So that's why somebody's willing to sell to us at a discount. It's why somebody's willing to give us great terms or creative terms on an opportunity. It's because we're solving a problem for them. So something to keep in mind is that if a seller, does not have a problem for you to solve, then you don't have an opportunity. There's no deal.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
They should just
You
go
can't
list
make
it.
them. You can't make a problem.
Yeah, you can't create a problem. And if you are, then you are the problem, right? So
Yeah.
but
True.
So we focus on finding people that have problems that need somebody's help to solve it. And then we deepen and identify what that problem is so that we know how to solve it. Then that's when you have a deal. If somebody has a problem, you can figure it out for them, even if you don't know what the answer is. This is where mentors and other people, other partners, can help you with finding the solution. You just have to identify somebody who has a
Yep.
problem.
Find the problem. Cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we're running out of time here. If there's anybody that's listening to this that maybe wants to talk to you further, maybe at some point wants to talk to you about the program you're coming out with next year, how do they get in touch?
Yeah, you can find me on all the socials, Gerald Hennessey, either on Facebook, Instagram, all that. And I respond to messages on there.
Okay, cool. We'll put all that in the show notes. Gerald, man, thank you for coming on here. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Good talking to you again, man. I know we've talked a little bit over the recent times, but it's good to have a conversation. Guys, I hope everybody out there listened. There's going to be some nugget drops on here. We'll make sure we identify them for you. But, like he said, you got to go find the problem, right? Be proactive, then find someone who can help you with the solution. It's going to help you go faster. Gerald, thank you again. Folks, see you on the next one. Cheers.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing on your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. You can also check out the show's notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and even how to work with me directly one-on-one. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. See you on the next show.